everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is Fit Body, Fab Life, the Successful Woman's Guide to Permanent Weight Loss. I'm Lisa G, your host. Hey everyone, welcome to Fit Body, Fab Life. We're so excited. We have Pete Weintraub with us today. Hey Pete.
Hey, how you doing, Lisa?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and tell our audience about your amazing bio, and then we'll get right into it with the questions on permanent weight loss. So that's why we're all here. It's January. We've all been there, done that. And Pete Weintraub is a permanent weight loss specialist who helps his clients lose weight for good by making healthy, sustainable lifestyle changes. And he has 7 different fitness nutrition certifications, so he's uniquely qualified to help you succeed in your mission of permanent weight loss. So Pete, I want to get right into it, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about your story and how you actually lost all that weight.
Sure. So it really dates back to my childhood. I was a very sedentary kid. One of my earliest vivid memories was my parents bringing me to a little league practice and me kicking and screaming, so they had to pull me off the field. So I wasn't really interested in sports up until my early teens. So a lot of my childhood consisted of movies, video games, TV, going on dial-up modems on the internet, and eating a lot of junk. I was made fun of quite a bit as a kid due to my childhood obesity. My parents, for some reason, put me into a sports camp. So that there was a lot of ridicule there between lack of athleticism, endurance, and all that stuff, as well as just my lack of a physique. So I guess my most eye-opening moment as a child came right before I entered junior high school, and I went to my annual physical. And after going through my bloods and all that stuff, my doctor, after weighing me, sat me down in front of my father. And he asked me point blank, do you want to have bigger boobs than the girls in school? Because if you continue on this path, that's exactly what's going to happen. So, that kind of lit a fire under me. So I started to exercise. I just thought if I exercised, I'd be able to do it. And I truly believe that teenagers can drink liquid bleach, provided they work out or exercise in some capacity, they'll see results. So I started playing baseball, running track, cross country. And through that, I was able to grow into the weight that I was at as a child. And entering college, I was in pretty good shape. I avoided the freshman 15, but in the first 3 months of my sophomore year, I gained a sophomore 70. I gained 70 pounds in 3 months. So when I went home for Thanksgiving, my friends from home and my family who hadn't seen me since summer were like, what happened to you? You were in shape when you left, and now you're like 70 pounds heavier. And my dating life was going pretty well up until that point. It suffered the rest of that academic year. I lost a lot of the very little self-confidence I built when I got into shape and began to play sports in high school. So I decided to make a change. And I went about it at first through conventional means. I thought, okay, well, I need to eat less and exercise more. And through that, I did lose 40 pounds in the first 4 months. But after that, I plateaued, not for 3 months, but for 3 years, continually trying to restrict calories and portions and upping my time at the gym. And no matter what I did, no matter how much I restricted or how much I upped, I could not lose a pound or change anything to save the life of me. And it was very frustrating. So that's what got me on this journey. I got my first personal training certification shortly after that. And I'm sure you can ask me some questions and I can answer based on my life experience going from there.
Well, thank you for sharing your very personal story. I want you guys in the audience to understand that we've all been there and done that with weight loss. And here it is, January, and we have Pete, this guy who's lost, was that a whole entire 100 pounds?
Right.
That's so important. And I want to know, what do you think is the most important thing people have to have in place in order to lose weight and sustain it the way you have?
I think there's a couple of things. There's a physical component that definitely needs to be there, and there's also a mental component as well. On the physical side, I think out of the 3 things that a lot of people say is most important, a lot of us like to start with fitness, but I actually disagree with that. I think if your nutrition's not in place, and I learned that from firsthand experience, you can work out till the cows come home, but if your nutrition's not in place, then you are never going to see the results that you want. So nutritionally, you need to have that down pat. And then mentally too, you have to go into it thinking about this as a lifestyle change. Obviously, something you were doing to get to the point where you're overweight or maybe struggling with your health is not working. Something is actually being detrimental to your way of life. So you got to look at that, see what that is, and then you need to improve upon it. And it takes 66 days, according to science, to actually form a habit. So it's going to take a bare minimum of that amount of time, consistent daily action to get there. But once you do, and if you go into it with that positive outlook of this is a lifestyle change, this isn't just a quick fix diet where I'm going to lose 50 pounds in 3 months and then yo-yo with my weight the rest of my life.
Right.
This has to be a lifestyle change. If you're able to think about it that way and you're able to get your nutrition in check, I think everything else is going to take care of itself.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that, Pete. I mean, I love that you're saying it's a 66-day thing, because a lot of times people say it takes 30 days to build a habit, or however long it takes. The thing is, 95% of most New Year's resolutions fail. And we have the answer. So what do you think the answers are? Do you think it's portion control, calorie counting? I mean, what do you think really will stick with our people? So we want you guys at Fit Body Fab Life to have permanent weight loss and no more yo-yo diets, no more setting your goals to lose the last 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, however much you're struggling with in January. And so what do you think worked?
What I learned early on, like I said, so when I stopped my story, I was at a 3-year plateau, and I thought it was calorie counting and portion control. I can assure you that it's not. What it is more so about is food quality. And so my friend turned me on towards the end of that 3-year plateau. He turned me on the CrossFit. And then when I explored CrossFit more, I saw that they followed either the paleo diet or the zone diet. The zone diet is very meticulous. There's a lot of portioning out and stuff. I was sick of that. I wasn't doing that. So I went to the paleo direction, and I cut out wheat, gluten. I cut out dairy, and I ate what was in there. Greg Glassman, who's the CrossFit founder, has a great sentence: eat meats, vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. And I really internalized that. And when I started to implement that as my primary nutritional philosophy, the weight started coming off again. And then it was funny, because then the floodgates opened up, and I got turned on to other different types of diets. You know, I got turned on to the ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting, things like that. And I also learned that I had a food allergy, because I was like, something's still not sitting quite right. I was having like organic dairy, like organic cheeses, organic milk, and I had a dairy allergy. And it was leading to intestinal issues and issues with going to the bathroom. So when I took that out, I lost an additional 30 pounds on top of the 70 that I'd gained in college. So, today, still to this day, I've sustained the weight loss. I'm 100 pounds down from my heaviest to where I am now. And I think if you're going to focus on anything nutritionally, it has to be what's going into your mouth, not how much is going into your mouth.
Well, thank you for breaking that down, because I personally love the keto, paleo diets. And I think for our audience, in order to discern whether you guys are having some kind of a food allergy, that's maybe sometimes people feel like they're doing everything right. They're like tracking their food, they're exercising, and still, they're not losing the weight. So don't you think possibly an elimination diet would be a good way to determine if there's something holding you back from weight loss other than hormones, which is another thing that we talk about hacking in other interviews? Specifically, do you just suggest cutting out all the potential allergens to see if you have something blocking you from losing weight, an intolerance?
Absolutely. So when we start off, I put them on a paleo-esque diet. I try to wean them into it. So first we just focus on food quality. I don't have them focused on macronutrients or anything like that. I just get them away from the junk, and I tell them, really minimize, if not completely eliminate, your dairy and your gluten and your grains. And through that, if you want to try to reintroduce it and see what happens, you can. And more often than not, of course, they'll reintroduce one or both, and they'll gain weight or they'll lack to see results that week. And like, all right, I'm just never going to it again. And also something they'll find is that, a lot of us, we have, those foods are addicting, especially grains. And we build these addictions to it. They taste so good to us because of the dopamine release that we experience when we ingest them. And then we have them again when maybe we haven't had it for a month or two and our palate has changed and our body chemistry has changed in regards to food. It doesn't taste half as good as it did when you were eating it all the time. So I think elimination dieting is a great way to go about introducing yourself to better quality food. And then you'll notice that A, you don't miss it. And B, if you do miss it and you have it again, you'll tend to not feel good. Like when I very rarely eat something with gluten or dairy, I
Right.
feel like I'm hungover the next day. Like I drank half a bottle of tequila or something. It's
Oh my
crazy.
gosh. So
Yeah, and I just had a slice of pizza. Yeah.
you don't have any like 80-20 rules or 90-10 or any off days at all?
I have an 80-20 rule. I don't emphasize an off day only because if you have an off day, then that can become an off several days and an off week and an off
Right.
month. And that really gets people off track. I know a lot of big celebrities, I know The Rock does a major cheat day once a week, but
Right.
personally, I don't recommend that to anybody. If you have something, try to nip it in the bud there. If you have pizza, have a slice of pizza. If you have ice cream, have a scoop of ice cream. Don't eat a whole pint or something like that.
One meal rather than one whole day is what you're saying.
Exactly. Correct.
Do you think people need a gym membership in order to get in shape?
Absolutely not. In fact, when I work with my clients in person here on Long Island, I just work with them usually in their living rooms. We just get some floor space. Maybe they have a pair of dumbbells and a yoga mat. But that's really all you need. And you don't even need that. You can literally just have some space and use your body. Your body is the best piece of exercise equipment you're ever going to come across. So I don't believe you need a gym membership whatsoever. And I know they're ridiculously cheap, but I also know that I believe it's 80% of gym members don't even go to the gym. So why waste, even if it's $10 a month, like in Planet Fitness, why waste the money every year? It's $120 a year that you could be saving, and you can just get it done right in your home. If it's nice out, you can go to a local park or the beach, or you can go hiking in the mountains if you live near mountains. There's so many things you can do. So to answer your question, I'm definitely not an advocate of the gym. In fact, I personally try to avoid a gym at all costs.
I love it. Well, I agree your body is your best machine and that you don't need a gym. But as long as you're moving, I mean, if that's how you work out, go to the gym, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. It's more consistency, isn't it, of just committing to yourself. Do you have any tips on how people can stay consistent with weight loss and eating clean and exercising and just completely committed out of their mind?
Sure. So what I do with a lot of folks, so let's break it down into the two things. So nutritionally, I recommend that you either do one of two things. Either find recipes that are reminiscent of some of the junk foods that you've been eating a lot that you enjoy. And
right.
There's so many out there. I mean, I put together these holiday or seasonal recipe books for my clients and my group members. And it's so easy. I find them on websites. I link to the website because I'm showing them, look, here's 15, 20 different websites where you can find great recipes that taste good. There's also so many good healthy food brands now coming out in the last year or two that you can turn to. So find healthy substitutes that work for you. Don't feel like you're depriving yourself, because the second you feel that way, it's not going to be sustainable. And then on the fitness side, we've already kind of mentioned it, but find something that you enjoy. Like right. Lisa said, if you do enjoy the gym, go to the gym. For me personally, I don't enjoy going to the gym, so I'll either work out at home or at a park, wherever. If you like hiking, do that. If you like swimming, do that. So in order to stay consistent, you have to find healthy substitutes food-wise that align with your tastes. And then on the fitness side, it's the same thing. What do you enjoy doing when you move? I play softball a couple times a week in like a competitive league, but it's a rec league. And that's a way that I work out a couple of times a week. So there's so many different ways you can go about it. And if you do things that you enjoy, then you'll be much more likely to stay consistent and see sustained success.
I love it. Well, any final thoughts on how we can make 2018 our year to rock out permanent weight loss and self-sabotage for good?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you've had a pattern of self-sabotage going on over the course of your life, a lot of people do. If you've been yo-yoing with your weight, or maybe you start but you never finish, now's the time to finish. And the way to do that is to, like we just said, You got to do things in accordance with your taste, in accordance with what you enjoy. If you feel that working out is a chore, if you feel that you're eating salad and grilled chicken and broccoli all the time, you're not going to see success. So instead, find healthy recipes, find healthy substitutes that work well in accordance with your tastes, find exercise that you actually enjoy doing, and program those things, whether it's meal or snack planning or working out, into your calendar. So if you have a job, just like if you have a business meeting or something important coming up that week or that day, book it in, and no excuses. Make sure that there's nothing before or after that can interfere. And if you make that no excuses and you take ownership, and look, you're probably not going to be perfect. Most people are not perfect. But if you're able to own up when you make mistakes, whether you self-sabotage or not, and then take ownership and just get back on the horse and get going. I have a game that I like to do with myself and my clients. One last thing that'll probably help you too. And that's, okay, let's say you went a week and then you had a bad day, like you ate like crap the entire day. Okay, so now try to go 2 weeks after that bad day. Try to go double as long as you went before in terms of consistency with your nutrition and your fitness. It's almost like a challenge to yourself in a game. And trust me, you'll see very, very few slip-ups along the way if you go about it that way.
I love it. Making it a competition. Well, I'm 100% agreeing with all of your stuff. You're awesome. And I know you have a wonderful free gift for our audience about the strategies that actually helped you lose and sustain 100 pounds. Tell us about the free gift link that we're going to put under your interview here.
Yeah, sure. So I call it the 5 strategies report. So it details the 5 strategies that I use to lose 100 pounds and keep them off. They're the same 5 core strategies that I teach all of my clients, all my group members. And the cool thing is you can start doing all of them today. You don't need to buy anything expensive, whether it's a gym membership or anything like that. You can just make some simple tweaks. They're really, really simple. We like to overcomplicate things when it seems like we have a long way to go. But losing weight and keeping it off is actually quite simple. So the report will walk you through 5 of the most core but basic strategies you can implement. And if you start even one of them today and you stick with it, I promise you in a month, you'll look back and you'll see a great noticeable difference. And the more of them you can incorporate, the better off you're going to be.
Awesome, Pete. Well, thank you so much for being here, you guys. You heard it here. These are things you can use right away. And we hope you're writing notes here. Have a good day, Pete.
All right, you too, Lisa. Take care.